All right, everybody. Well, welcome back to the podcast. We've got a special guest, Ivana Petrović, on the podcast today. She's a mixed martial artist with a 6-0 undefeated professional record. She just signed a deal with the UFC. She's actually the first Croatian woman in the UFC. So that's super cool. And we've got her on the podcast. Thanks for coming on the podcast today, Ivana.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. Awesome to have you on. Super excited. Before we sort of get into, the UFC stuff, can you give us a little bit about your, Croatian background?
Actually, I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Mostar, but I'm Croatian. So I grew up in Mostar, but in 2015 I decided to move to Norway, and since then I live in Norway.
Mostar is a beautiful city. I love Mostar. My family is from near Ljubuški over there. So I've driven, I don't know how many times, but the Mostar, super nice, really cool city. But moving to Norway, I imagine that's a big difference, no?
Yeah, it is. Actually, in the start, I wasn't sure if I'm gonna live here because it was really cold and it's opposite of Mostar. We like the social life and all that things that we don't have in Norway. But after a few years, it was okay. I'm fine now. Now I'm more used to this and I'm more mature, so I like more Norway now.
Really? Is there anything that you miss about Mostar? Maybe the
Yes,
coffee? I don't know.
yeah, drinking the coffee. I miss my family and my friends. But other than that, I'm really happy to live in Norway too.
And did you move for, training purposes?
I moved because of my husband or my fiance in that time. He was living here and he was studying. He tried to live in Mostar, but since he lived in Norway all his life, he couldn't be used to Mostar and all the things there. So I decided to move with him and yeah, and to train here, of course. It's
Mhm.
much better or much easier to train here, especially if you want to be a professional athlete. It's much easier to train here and yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, well, talking about being a professional athlete, which you are, did you grow up wanting to always be a fighter? How did you get involved in mixed martial arts?
Actually, yes, I really wanted to be a professional athlete, but I was training handball, and my father introduced me to handball, and he wanted me to train handball, but I always want to train some martial arts. But Balkan people don't like to see women in that sport. And after I turned 17, I decided to move to kickboxing. And I said to my parents, now I'm going to train kickboxing. They wasn't so happy about it, but I started and it was good. And after some time, I moved to MMA and my journey starts there.
Well, there are a lot of, great Croatian fighters, both in history and, right now. There's a lot of current, Plazibat, Hrgović, Babić, Delia, a lot of Croatian fighters. But yeah, as far as Croatian, female fighters, growing up, was there anyone that I mean, either male or female, that you looked up to as sort of either a fighter or just athletes in general who were sort of your role models?
Yeah, Mirko CroCop is my role model. I was in love in his fights, and I used to watch his fights with my father. My father really liked him too, so I knew that he going to wake up in 3 o'clock and ask him if I can watch with him. And I was watching the fights, and I was impressed with his skills. So
Yeah.
Mirko, my role model, and I wanted to start MMA because of him too.
Oh, that's awesome. CroCop, yeah, he's a legend. That I always watch that stare down when I need just some motivation or something between him and Silva. The one I saw, Joe Rogan made that sort of famous as of late, last couple of years, because he brought that up, and then everyone started watching that video. But yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, he's a crazy fighter with the left leg, right leg hospital, left leg cemetery.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Have you had a chance to meet him or train with him?
Yes, actually, I met him when I was 18 years old and just in the start of my career. I wasn't training MMA at that time, but he had a seminar that was free just for the lucky ones. And somehow I was lucky and they called me. So I was on a seminar with him for maybe 10 years ago or something. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome opportunity to train with him and learn from him. Yeah, I wanted to ask a little, what did family and friends sort of think, when you told them you wanted to be, a professional fighter? But it sounds like your dad was, very supportive. He was the one that sort of, got you inspired to
Yeah,
like watching.
he likes martial arts, but he don't want to see me in martial arts because he knew how is it, and it's a brutal sport too. But after some time, when he saw that I'm really interested to be a professional fighter, I got his support, and since then he's my biggest fan I have, and I'm really happy about it.
Has he been able to travel to watch your fights?
No, he never watched my fights. He's working a lot, but hopefully one day he is going to watch me.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the UFC because you just signed a deal, to be in the UFC. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just signed or for a month or two, I signed my contract while I was in Mostar with my family. I just finished my fight. I won the fight in RS. I was fighting Evelina Wozniak, and she was best pound for pound fighter in Europe. And to be honest, I didn't expect UFC to call me that soon. And I knew that I'm new in this sport and I wanted to train a little bit more. But on another side, I know that I'm ready for the bigger things too. I managed to finish the fight. I submit Evelina, and I think UFC saw something in me, and they saw someone who can be a really good fighter. So they gave me opportunity. It felt like a dream in the start, but after some time, they gave me the fight, and I knew that I need to just to train even harder than I trained before, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, the UFC, that's the biggest, MMA organization, in the world. That's awesome to be called by them. When is your next fight scheduled?
My next fight is in 11 days.
Wow.
So July.
I didn't realize it was that soon.
Yeah, it is.
Geez, well, I wanted to ask a little bit about the training camp and what that looks like. So, maybe now can you tell us a little, how have you been training for this fight?
I've been training really hard, even harder than I did before. So sometimes I feel a little bit overtrained, but I was so motivated that doesn't affect me. And every time I feel a little bit overtrained, I have that dream to be a winner in UFC, and I just get up and I do the training even better than I was imagining it. So I don't know. I feel really, really ready. It was hard camp, but I think we did the job, and I'm ready to show everyone what I can do there.
Was there something specifically that you were focusing on, like, stand up or ground game or jujitsu?
Yeah, I know she is a striker, so I was working on my striking skills. My striking is much better than it was in the last fight, because in the last fight we was working just with wrestling, because I wanted to wrestle her and finish the fight on the ground. But now I was working on everything. To be honest, all my game, it's striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu, everything is so much better. So nothing specific. I was working on everything, and to be honest, I really think I can win this fight in every aspect of the fight. Even striking, wrestling, on jiu-jitsu, I'm ready for whenever it happens.
Mm-hmm. How, as far as like hours per day, are you training basically the whole day, or taking rest days, or a couple hours a day? How does that work for you?
I train 3 times a day because I live near the gym in Oslo when I live there. I live in the office of my manager when I'm there. So sometimes coach need to say, you need to go home now, Ivana, and rest. Since I'm there, I don't have friends there. I have just my sparring partners, my teammates. So I'm there all day. If I'm not training, I'm stretching or doing yoga or something. So At least 2 times a day, like hard sparring in the morning, MMA training, and then in the evening something like weights and more like specifics MMA.
That makes sense. Yeah. As far as like diet and, keeping weight for the weigh-ins, is that something that you've been thinking about this whole time, or is that easy for you and just the last couple of days you worry about that?
I cut my weight 1 week before the fight. I'm someone who is really always shredded and someone who was struggling to eat. So it's okay for me to do it this way, and I don't use so much energy on that. So I'm happy about it.
Well, that's not so bad. Only 1 week before, so you don't feel too bad about. I don't know. Do you have any favorite foods that you have to cut out that you miss eating?
Yeah, actually, I love pasta, but pasta is not so good after I'm finished with my weight. So I eat something like rice and meat and that stuff. But after the fight, then I eat a lot of pasta.
Yeah, I bet. Actually, I wanted to
Yeah.
ask. I've got a question about food that I'll save for a little bit later. Um,
Yeah.
but I wanted to ask. You have a walkout song, an entrance song planned for the fight?
Yeah, I have one song that I always use, "The Paint in Black" from Rolling Stones.
Oh, that's a classic. Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to imagine that song because some people like sort of the feel calm when they walk into the ring. Some people just want all the energy. That song's kind of in between. It's not like a metal song, but it's not like a classical. So what's sort of your attitude when you're listening to that and walking into the ring?
I'm actually really, really calm before my fight. Sometimes I want to slap myself to be like more awake, but that song helps me to get that balance, to get that boost and to paint all black and just go straight to the cage and finish the fight.
That's awesome. That's an awesome walkout song. I'm a big, sort of classic rock fan, so that's a really cool song. Yeah, the Stones are great. As far as have you thought at all long term in the UFC, or are you sort of, do you have like long term goals of what you want to do in your division or other divisions in the UFC, or are you, focused on this fight and sort of you'll make plans later with those things?
First of all, I want to come to top 10. I want to show everyone what I'm capable of, and I really think I deserve to come there and come there as soon as possible. I'm 28 years old. I don't have some injuries that stop me to do that, and I'm just going to fight to come there. And after that, of course, my goal is the same like in ours. I want that belt.
Mm-hmm. Is there a timeline that you're hoping for, a specific number of fights, or you're just gonna win every fight that comes your way and whenever that
Mm,
comes?
I never choose the fight, so I just take everything and no, I don't have timeline. When it happens, it happens. I know it's going to happen. I just need to train and show my best in the cage.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for that. Do you have a favorite current UFC fighter? I know you mentioned CroCop, but someone who's fighting now, maybe that you got in contact with that now that you're in the UFC, or someone you're hoping to maybe get in contact with or train with?
I really like Jon Jones. I like his style. He was always my favorite fighter, and also Valentina Shevchenko. She's in my weight class. Uh, I like her. I like her style, but also I never know. Maybe I'm gonna meet her too in the cage. So I'm not gonna say I'm going to be her fan right now, but I like her. I like how she's doing in the cage, and yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, you can respect someone's style and abilities. You mentioned Jon Jones, though. I have to admit I'm a Stipe Miocic fan, so I've got Stipe for this
Uh,
fight.
I like Steve, but I'm not sure if he's going to be here for a long time. He has some years now. I don't know. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
yeah. I would think this would be either his last or maybe one or two more
Yeah,
fights. He seems he's ready to settle down with the family and things like that. But yeah, he's
yeah,
he's always fun to watch, and he's a great fighter as well.
yeah. He is. He is.
Ivana, you have a YouTube channel that I just saw. What kind of things are you posting on there? And is that new? Is that something that you just sort of are starting out with?
Yeah, it's new, or can I say new? That's from my second professional fight. My husband's brother is really good with filming, and he wanted to film me like behind the scenes to show people what we are doing before the fight and all that stuff. And now people liked it, and we are continuing with that. And he's going to film in Las Vegas too. So I think it's going to be cool to have all that footage in maybe a couple of years, and it's cool to see where we start and then where we are right now.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome. You're able to track the journey, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, you know, on both the YouTube channel, and do you have other social medias that, you know, people can follow you?
Yeah, of course. If they can, how we said, subscribe on YouTube. all into that, and follow me on Instagram, Ivana MMA. It would be great.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'll put links, you know, so everyone listening can click on those links and find you as well.
Thank you.
Ivana, I've got a couple more questions here. Let's see, I got the entrance song one. I asked you favorite food. It sounds like it was pasta, but favorite food when you're either in Mostar or if you're going to Croatia, you know, for the summer or something, you're on the coast, favorite food to eat.
Okay, this is not like summer food, but I like cevapi too. Cevapi is, of course, my favorite, especially if I'm in Bosnia, in Sarajevo too. It's really, that's my favorite food, yeah. And I like food that my mother made, because that's like all that childhood things like sarma and dolma and all that stuff. I don't know how to say that on English.
I don't either. I mean, I think most of the people listening are gonna know what sarma is for sure.
So traditional food from Croatia or Balkan, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, cevapi, of course, is the best. And there's two kinds, but it sounds like the Sarajevski cevapi.
Yeah, they are really good. If you didn't try, you need to try cevapi from Sarajevo.
I always get confused. Are those the small ones that are together or the long ones? I always forget which is which.
Small ones, or not, but small ones are from Banja Luka, I think.
Ah, okay.
I'm not really sure. I
I
like them
I
all.
always get them confused. Yeah, they're all delicious. Yeah, and everyone sort of makes them in their own, you know, they have the ratio of meats, or some, you know, won't use pork at all and just lamb and beef. So it always tastes a little bit different wherever you go.
Yeah, yeah, true.
And then last question, Ivana, you know, and I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast and taking the time to do this. But for you, what makes Croatia special?
Oh my God, it's thousand reasons why Croatia is special. Right now, my husband asked me if I wanted to be in Las Vegas, because I never been in Las Vegas, and he thought that maybe that can be fun and train there and be there. But actually, after the fight, we are just landing to Norway to pick our stuff, and we are going straight to Croatia. Croatia is of course, I'm Croatian, but I don't know. I don't understand why everyone are going somewhere else, because Croatia is the like heaven on earth. We have beautiful sea, we have beautiful country, beautiful people, food. Like it's a million of things that are why I like Croatia. So
I couldn't say that any better than you did right there. Yeah, that's I love it for the same reasons. Although I have to admit, Las Vegas is cool too for
yeah,
for a few nights maybe, but
yeah, yeah. That's why.
yeah, after that it's too much. You can go crazy over there with everything they have. But yeah, Croatia. Wow, I won't even try to say it any better than you did. Ivana, you know, I want to thank you again so much for coming on the podcast here and wish you the best of luck in your upcoming
Thank,
fight. I'm super excited for that. I know you are as well. That's a big deal. So good luck in that, and you know, thank you again so much.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.